Adath B'nai Israel, the Jewish temple in Newburgh. Because I know everybody else has a lot to say here, I'm going to skip as fast as I can to what I term the 5 guiding principles of Judaism in regards to the environment. 5 big ideas, basically. First one, God created the universe. Pretty big one. Jews see that the world is God-centered, not human-centered, so we should see everything as sacred in that respect and approach it with that sense of wonder rather than as a resource for us to plunder. When we consume in a wasteful manner, we damage creation and therefore violate that covenant with God, that special covenant with God. Number 2, the Sabbath. Also, pretty big idea. Basically, one day out of the week. You tone it down, you tread lightly. We're supposed to walk to synagogue, we're not supposed to shop, we're not supposed to carry money, transact business, we're not supposed to use electricity, work our animals. That's why I give my cat the day off on Saturday. But I mean, when you think about it, in the last decade or so, there have been a lot of programs that have come up, whether it's Meatless Monday or Bike to Work one day a week. These are all things based on the same exact principle, just taking a break and stepping back and treading lightly. Big idea number 3 is called Bal Tashchit, and it literally comes from Deuteronomy, and it means do not destroy, and it is the biblical command that soldiers at war not cut down trees regardless of their needs when besieging an enemy. And so the rabbis interpret that as not only, so in that sense, if soldiers under the pressure of war and battle are not allowed to cut down a tree, then we as everyday people should not engage in that sort of wanton environmental destruction. And this quote from a rabbi, Samson Raphael Hirsch, I think interprets this pretty well. He says, "Only if you use the things around you for wise human purposes do you have the right over them. However, if you destroy, if you ruin, at that moment you are not a human and have no right to the things around you." And I think it's very interesting. He says you are not a human because that harkens back to the special covenant between God and humankind with dominion over the earth in Genesis. So removing that humanity is very important. Big idea number 4 is called Sa'ar Ba'alei Chaim, which is the suffering of living creatures. Also, this is pulled directly from Proverbs chapter 12, verse 10. The interpretation is, in Judaism, the righteous one knows the needs of his animal's soul, which I thought was very interesting, the reading of that. And that's not necessarily take care of your animals, not necessarily treat them well, not necessarily let them play outside for a while. This is know the needs of your animal's soul, and that is very much prevalent in the laws of kashrut, or keeping kosher, food rules. They're designed with the welfare of the animals at heart, and animals meant for human consumption are supposed to be slaughtered in the most humane way possible. There's actually another law associated with that you're not allowed to take eggs out of the nest if the mother hen is present. So again, talking about the actual emotional impact of how our actions impact animals. And then big idea number 5 is called Tikkun Olam, which is called perfecting or repairing the world. And that comes from a very popular prayer called Aleinu that we close most of our services with. It's a prayer in which we ask that the world be soon perfected under the sovereignty of God. And that has been a very prevalent movement within Reform Judaism, specifically, as I know, because our temple is a Reform movement, that specific emphasis on social action and social awareness is a driving force of what our congregations are all about. And the other name for that is Tzadek, and that is basically righteousness, justice, and equality, which obviously scans across not only environmentalism, but all social areas. But of course, in this day and age, you really can't separate the two anymore. That, obviously, social injustice usually spills over and has lasting impacts on environments and vice versa. The impact on the environment has repercussions throughout different social stratas of the world. So those are my 5 big ideas, and I think that pretty much wraps it up. I hope I didn't take too much time.